Hello and welcome to the second episode of Last Month in Music, a series I'm doing where I look back at the new music released over the last month, what I listened to, and also like old music that I listened to for the first time personally. So we're looking at both brand new music and some like older music that I haven't heard before. And I'm gonna just give my thoughts, talk about it a bit, and give some like reviews and ratings to these different projects, albums and EPs and so on. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I'm trying to out this new visual format of just doing like a static background, and as opposed to like doing a whole thing with like a moving character and stuff, just for the sake of like giving myself like less stuff to edit and things, and maybe like by doing that I can just make this series take up less time, and then I can focus more of that time on the full like big videos I do. So as with the last episode, this is going to be quite just sort of casual, just a bit of yapping about about different music, and I don't have a script or anything. I have a few notes that I've written up about each project, but that's about it. So yeah, just a bit of fun. So let's get into it. I felt like last month was a little slower. Not as much stuff was releasing compared to the month before. I mean, specifically like for what I listen to, and the bands that I follow, the artists that I keep up with. But there was some good stuff that came out. So first of all, the new Evanescence album, Sanctuary. I thought it was quite enjoyable, and at times kind of just really beautiful, actually. There's some really cool moments, and there was a lot of things about this album that I really liked. The songwriting was generally very good. I thought like Afterlife was an especially powerful and beautiful track. And while some tracks felt a little weaker, I felt like they were all like still pretty great. Still very good. The quality here was quite consistent. Everything was very enjoyable, and I think this album had a lot of great things to offer. I really like the vibes, and while I don't think it's perfect, I still think it's a really good project. So I guess like I would summarize it as like great, but it could have been like even better. It's like there are better albums, but hey, it's certainly not bad by any means. It's a really good time, and I'm quite happy to say that because I've been a fan of the band for a while. Quite enjoy their older stuff, but I like their new stuff as well. So yeah, I ended up giving this album an 8.7 out of 10. The next new album from June that I listened to was Against All Warnings by W.M.D. It's a very solid listening experience. For anyone who doesn't know, W.M.D. is a smaller thrash metal band, and I think they did a really good job here. There's consistently high quality songwriting, great performances, and some amazing highlights on this project. My favourite track here was Already Dead, which is absolutely incredible. It has really engaging and interesting songwriting, and I mean, just all around, like this project is very good. But that was definitely like my number one sort of like highlight, if you will. Some tracks like March of Death are still really cool, but not as great as the highlights. But I mean, similar story to the Evanescence album, really. I mean, it's very good all around. Could be like even better, could be an even higher score, but as it is, it's still very good, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Definitely an album that I would recommend to people who like thrash metal like me. And I ended up giving it an 8.8 out of 10. Then we had the new KOAN Sound EP, Moments of Opening, which is more of like an electronic music kind of thing, and man, it is a truly beautiful collection of music. I mean, the songwriting is great. I love the soundscapes on display here, and even the worst track on this project was a 9 out of 10 for me. So, I mean, absolutely just a fantastic listen, and I really enjoyed my time with it. And I feel like for like such a short EP, it's like it sort of did what it was supposed to in that way. It was like it left me wanting more, you know. And I ended up finishing the EP, and I was like, man, I wish there was even more for me to listen to. And you know, that's certainly not a bad problem to have. So yeah, I mean, fantastic. Definitely a really cool little project. So I ended up giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Our next big release for the month was the new Muse album, The Wow Signal. Their first project since, well, let's say the divisive Will of the People, for anyone who's familiar with that. And wow, I mean, this is an amazing album, so much better than what they did last time, and I'm really happy with it. I love the atmosphere on this project. It feels genuinely exciting and fun, in a way that the previous album really just didn't. And I feel like there's a sense of like genuine like energy here, which was lacking on that last project. And that's like really what I want from Muse, you know. It's sort of just I want that like dramatic sense of excitement. I want that really cool and fun songwriting, and I feel like this album really delivered on that. My favorite track here was Cryogen. It's just an incredible song. I really love that one, and I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. There was only one song here that was a 9 out of 10, and only one that was an 8 out of 10, and the rest were 10 out of 10. Just absolute bangers, in my opinion. I mean, wow. I mean, it's just an amazing album with like very few dips in quality, and even the dips in quality there are like quite small dips. You know, we're talking about going from a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10, which is like, no, it's hardly the end of the world, you know. But yeah, I mean, fantastic stuff. I really enjoy this album. Certainly anybody who like is a fan of like the older Muse albums, maybe like went off the newer stuff, I'd say give this one a try, you know. I think it's really cool stuff. So I ended up giving that one a 9.5 out of 10. The final brand new album I listened to last month was The Seventh Circle by Morgal, which, I mean, wow. I mean, the band absolutely blew me away with this album. I mean, it has an incredibly consistent level of quality. For anyone who doesn't know, Morgal is a sort of small black metal band. Great band, and I really liked this new album. I thought it was incredible. I mean, I think just every track was like a 10 out of 10 banger. A lot of fun to listen to, and picking a favorite song was just like a really tough choice for me. Like, I don't know, it's just, man, it's difficult, you know. It's just everything was so good. I think the only way I can really summarize it is just like this was an absolutely fantastic album that I loved listening to. I'm seriously impressed by it, and I think the band just did a great job, and I think they deserve some more attention. So, you know, if you like that sort of thing, then definitely check that out. Morgal, The Seventh Circle, very cool. And I gave it a 10 out of 10. Next up, we will talk a little bit about the albums that didn't release last month, but I listened to for the first time last month. Anybody who watched the last episode will know that I was checking out the discography of Voivod, and I continue doing that into last month as well. So I ended up listening to Katorz. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, but that's my guess. And it's a surprisingly solid listening experience after a very disappointing release, which was the previous album, self-titled. And while the average user score on this project was actually quite low, I felt like pleasantly surprised by it. I quite enjoyed it personally. Contrary to popular opinion, I thought it had a good energy. I thought the songwriting was fairly solid, and everything in here just sort of sounds very good. It's not the band's best material by any means, but it has a couple of really good highlights, and it's just generally quite good across the board. I think it's just a solid and enjoyable project, despite some flaws here and there, some issues I took with it. But I say it was generally very good, and I enjoyed it. So I ended up giving this one an 8 out of 10. And then we continue listening to the Michiru Aoyama discography. Talked about this guy a lot on the last episode, and we're going to be talking about it a couple times as well today. So this one was Konpon, which I thought was a solid and enjoyable ambient project. Some really nice soundscapes and atmospheres here. It's very relaxing and satisfying to listen to, and well, I think it could be even better. It's still really good as it is, and so I would say it's a fun listening experience. It didn't do anything to blow me away, to absolutely wow me, but I thought it was just a lot of fun. It's a very good project, and it does what it sets out to do. It's quite nice, just collection of ambient music, and hey, sometimes that's all you need. So I ended up giving Konpon an 8 out of 10. Then I ended up listening to some more Voivod, this time being the album Infini. And while this album, similarly to the last project I talked about, has a bit of a low user score, I personally actually quite liked it. I think it's a pretty decent project with some very fun moments here and there. Generally, the level of quality here isn't low, but it also isn't that high either. It's a consistently 7 out of 10 album. It's quite good, but it's not amazing or anything. Could be better, could be worse. But I thought it was alright. The track Pyramidium felt a little unengaging to me, but it was still okay, not bad, but not that good either. That's the worst song on the album, and I think otherwise it's just a decent album, It has its moments where it sort of shines, but for the most part, it's just alright. It's just a good project, So I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. Then I checked out Kumo by Michiru Aoyama again, and it's a really nice ambient project with some beautiful moments. Really cool and enjoyable listening, and oh man, Matome was a really beautiful song with a wonderful atmosphere and soundscape. It sounds incredible. Not every track is on that level of quality, but they're all good, And I think it's just a really good project. It's short but sweet. It's a fun listen, and it doesn't really have much for me to complain about. I don't think it's the greatest thing of all time, but I think it's good. And for that reason, I gave it an 8.7 out of 10. Then we head back to Voivod. Yeah, there's a bit of a pattern. Last month, I didn't really listen to much aside from Voivod and Michiru Aoyama, actually. So it's going to be a lot of talking about those guys. But, it is what it is. But anyway, Target Earth was the next project listened to by them, and after a sort of period of quite a few projects from the band being sort of hit or miss, I think this was the big comeback album that I was hoping for. It's full of absolute just perfect bangers, and it's just an album of really high quality proggy thrash metal, which I really enjoy. It has a couple of tiny dips in quality here and there, and there are a couple of little songwriting choices I felt could have been improved, and some slight issues with production on a couple songs, but these are really just minor complaints. These are sort of nitpicks, nothing major really. I think it was just think it was an amazing album, and I absolutely loved listening to it. You know, a couple of small critiques aside, and it's a lot of fun with only like I said, only a couple of little things I felt could have been better. I just think it was. I think it was very good, very very good actually. I thought it was incredible. But little room for it to be even better. But hey, it was fantastic as it was, and I ended up giving it a 9.7 out of 10. It was after listening to that album that I then started going through the Bloodstained Child discography. If anybody knows the channel, then you will have probably seen that the last video I did was all about Bloodstained Child. So I'm not going to go over those albums here. But I listened to Silence of Northern Hell, Mystic Your Heart, Idolator, Mosaic, Amaterasu, Siberia, and Metalia. If you want to check out my reviews of those, then they are in that video, in the previous video I just put out quite recently. And I worked fairly hard on that. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So check that out if you're interested. I go into a lot more detail than I am in this video, because it's this one's more of like a just casual sort of like look back at the last month of stuff I listened to. But that is like a full video where I go into like a lot more detail. It's quite a long video, but that's what happens when you go into detail, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that covers that. So moving on. Then I listened to The Wake by Voivod, and I think it's up there with some of the band's best work. Incredibly immersive and engaging project with some amazing songwriting. Just from beginning to end, the quality never dips. I felt like the atmosphere and the vibe here was incredible. Sonic Mycelium was a masterpiece, especially. That's probably my favorite song. And it was just an engaging and interesting listen, really. The whole album is perfect. Every last detail was so well put together. And I just really enjoyed it. So, definitely an album I would recommend to any sort of tech thrash enjoyers. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. What a good project from Voivod. And giving that, obviously, 10 out of 10. And then we finished the month of June with another Michiru Aoyama project. This one being Natu or Natu. I don't know which one I'm supposed to pronounce. I'm just guessing. But anyway, Natu. And it was quite a pleasant listening experience with only one like really great highlight. But every other track was enjoyable, just like varying degrees, if you get what I mean. Kanzen was the best track here in my opinion, and it was honestly really beautiful with a great soundscape, and it was very engaging and satisfying to listen to. Just fantastic stuff, really. I really like that track. The quality on this project isn't the most consistent though. Gyuto and Saizen were both nice songs with quite nice atmospheres, but they lacked a little in terms of memorability, and they didn't feel as engaging to me. But they were good. They were good for what they were. Could have been better. Could have been worse. But quite good. Overall, I'd say it was a fun release. I certainly enjoyed my time listening to it, and I don't think it's the best work from the artist by any means. But I mean, it was just it was solid, and I enjoyed it. So hey. What more can you ask for? Well, a bit more, I guess, but hey, as long as it's good, right? Anyway, I ended up giving this project a 7.7 out of 10. Alright, so to end it off, here is everything I just talked about, all the projects, in a chart, tier list thing. It's the thing. It's the thing with the colours and then the chart stuff, there it is. Very cool. Nice. But yeah, that's pretty much where we end it. That's everything I listened to over the month of June 2026. And I say it was a fun month, Not as much stuff came out that I didn't listen to as much stuff as I did the month previous. But I think everything I listened to was pretty good, and so I enjoyed it. I think it was a sort of solid lineup of things I listened to, and yeah, I think it was pretty good. But that's where the video ends. So it's a short episode today, but it is what it is. Not as much stuff to listen to, so these things happen. And there you go. So if anyone is interested in checking out full written reviews for any of these projects that I talked about today, they're all available to read on my Album of the Year page, as well as many, many other reviews. I have quite a few. I go into a good amount of detail, not as much as I do in the videos, but more than I do here. So definitely check those out if you're interested. And well, that's about it. I don't want to just be sitting here advertising and stuff. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next episode.